Oh, there we go. Welcome everybody to Attempts at Governance, episode 189, a big polka dot episode here, still live from the Parody Retreat. Sorry for the little bit of a late start today. We had some very juicy space monkeys that we'll be giving to you in the weeks to come. But for now, we're going to skip State of the Treasury. Maybe we'll figure it out later and throw it right. We have to skip State of the Funk as well, because we don't exactly know where Funk is, but we have discussed perhaps he's on a bender because Bitcoin hit 100,000. Perhaps he's getting his hair cut, maybe getting his car washed. We'll get more info as it comes in, but now we're going to throw it to Limo for referenda gone by.
I'm awaiting those updates. That's exciting to see what Funky's up to.
Indeed.
Okay, not too many refs this week. The first one is by panelist Don Diego Sanchez on the route track, ref 1267. This was approved, and it is for the Polka Ambassador Fellowship, which we've spoken about at length on this show multiple times. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and read the ref. Then we have another one from a panelist, Raul, on the whitelisted collar track. We spoke a bit about this on Monday's show. This is ref 1322. And this was approved, and it is to rebond the dot from the parallel financed compromised accounts. Go back and watch Monday's show if you want to learn more about that one. Then we have Mataj from Apollon on the big spender track, ref 1266. This was also approved, and it's for 809,000 USDT for Apollon Milestone 3, core integrations and service enhancements. Congrats to the team. Then we've got one by Ota on the medium spinner track, ref 1283. This was also approved, and it is the curator resubmission for the Polkadot to Kusama Bridge Security Bounty. And a quick one, if you're on a bounty as a curator, if you let your bounty expire, anybody on the network can just permissionlessly remove you as the curator. There is a bounty that has had that happen today, so just be careful and make sure you extend your bounties on time. Then, speaking of bounties, we have Lou on the medium spinner track, ref 1278. This was approved, and it is for 63,000 dot for a top-up for the Meetups bounty, which is bounty number 43. And this includes some changes to the rules of the Meetup bounty. So if you want to host the Meetup, make sure you read the new context from this ref. And finally, we've got Ross and Yoel from Polkadot Cloud on the medium spinner track, ref 1269. This was rejected, and on the 21st of November, they did ask to vote nay on it. It was originally for 52,000 dot for the Polkadot staking dashboard and developer console funding, but they will come back with an updated ref based on the community's comments. And that are all the refs gone by this week.
Very good. What was that bounty you mentioned who just lost their curator?
It was the moderation team bounty. They took too long to sign the extend transaction, I believe.
What is even the point of kicking off bounty curators? Why is that even a part of the mechanism?
Just epic trolling, basically. Yeah. I mean, there should be some notification system, maybe like Web3 alerts if it doesn't already. Should support it, and then you can subscribe to the Web3 alerts Telegram bot and get notified when you have like a week left. But yeah, there's been a few bounties that have had that happen, where somebody's just pressed the button and kicked the curators off.
Damn, ouch. All right, well, Limo, thank you very much for that. We have a big show ahead of us, a bunch of discussions to start. It does seem unnecessary. Yeah, totally. I agree. Okay, we have a bunch of discussions to start off the show today, and a big welcome back to Mr. Connor Daly, who obviously has been a fantastic ambassador for Polkadot. It definitely went above and beyond our initial contract that we had with them. Big success there. We did have you guys come through a few months ago with a proposal that maybe was just a little bit too big for the times, but here you are back with a refined proposal based on community feedback, still in the discussion phase. I'll open it up to you right now. Welcome back to the show, Connor, Andrew, and Chris.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's been awesome. Obviously, I'm gonna kind of give you a little bit of information, but then kind of toss it to Andrew and Chris as well, because Andrew has done a really good job, and so is Chris on trying to figure out, the best way we can build something to continue this incredible relationship. Obviously, this year, we all went through a ride. It was an amazing ride, and I was extremely proud to represent for Polkadot. And oddly enough, very recently, there are many people who have come and told me, they're like, we are super glad you made us aware of what DOT is. And the whole Polkadot community, oddly enough, funny how that's timed, but far more than the haters in the middle of the summer, it seems, which is good. So that's really nice to hear. But yeah, we felt we delivered a successful relationship, a successful program, and we love the support from the community as well. It was an incredible, feeling, and even starting to kind of branch out and, go to the hackathons, work with Angie as well, and Dot Play, kind of just expand the horizons. Right. And the last proposal, I'm actually now glad, the last referendum, I'm actually glad it didn't go through, because there's now a much better opportunity for not only my career, but at a far cheaper price as well, right? We respected what was wrong with our, first referendum, asking, obviously the token price was for sure. The health of that was definitely, part of it. So there's a lot in here that you can look at that is, the facts of the program from this year. What was really good about it, the business development that we did with it, the relationships that we created. And you can't necessarily take advantage of all of that just in 1 year, because it takes time to, I guess, build an empire, right? So it's not necessarily, we want to continue this ride. We also want to put Limo in a 2-seater. That hasn't happened yet, so that needs to definitely be high on the priority list. I don't know why we haven't done that yet.
Mm-hmm.
But this is honestly the most important opportunity for my career in the IndyCar Series full-time. The IndyCar Series full-time on Fox this year. It's a team that I didn't know I would even have an opportunity with last year. They put me in. We had their most successful races ever. We were on the podium already competing, at the front. And so this, for me, is the most important opportunity for my career in the last decade. It's a group that is super supportive of me. It's a whole new business network as well that we are introduced to. So there's a lot there. There's a lot in the proposal that, when we put up the referendum, half in DOT, half in stable coins, trying to figure out the best way to navigate that. And that seemed like a very responsible way of doing things. Less than 1% of the treasury now, which is obviously, what was really important, I think, about that we learned from the first referendum. So there's a lot in there. And if you want to have a look at it too, the discussion post, I mean, there's a lot of great information. Andrew did a great job putting together what was really successful about year one. And we obviously want to see this continue to grow. And this is the best place to do it. The most premier events, on the schedule, the Indianapolis 500, followed by, 5 or 6 other events that are the major events in our series. That is, that's some of the best of the best. So I'll pass it off to Andrew, because he's obviously done a ton of work as well. This is a team effort, and we want to make sure everyone is pumped about this.
Great.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Again, as much as everybody probably loves hearing from folks like Chris and I, the real star of the show here, both on track and off, has been Connor, throughout the course of the season. And I hope that's been on full display for everybody. Just a few call outs with the discussion. We put together a comprehensive recap report from our agency that's in the discussion. It's about 7 or 8 pages long. It calls out, some key data points and areas of which I don't think even a lot of people, when you look at our last or current referendum that we are, working through to finalize, the high level benchmarks were basically on track sponsorship. And what we really tried to do was to use this sponsorship as a tool to unlock a lot of new opportunities and begin showing people how that's done. And again, we talk about the B2B side, and albeit, I think it ruffles some feathers when, it's like, B2B, what are you guys doing? We're literally here to support, and we're here to use these sponsorships as tools to unlock for the benefit of every company involved within Polkadot, whether that's a Paragene, a project, a company. This is something that should be used by multiple stakeholders and not just 1 to 2 to 3 big companies involved. So as we're working through this discussion right now, I just want to highlight the importance of what we're looking to do. There's so many assets involved in these motorsports programs. Same to it when you look at programs like Heroic or Inter Miami. There's layers and layers of assets that oftentimes people sit here like on AAG and they're like, well, how does that benefit me? Like, how does that benefit my company? And we really want to work, with the greater community to figure out how we can distribute some of those assets and even put it up to an auction style bid process that can drive revenue from those assets that we're able to put up back to the treasury. So that is something that we're trying to work at as a way to like drive revenue and automatic return to the treasury as a pass-through entity. So again, I think the discussion speaks for itself. The price point is at $3 million US, as Connor mentioned, half requested in stables and half requested in DOT. Again, we spent so much time speaking to so many educated people within this community who have been doing it for far longer and far better than us. And this opportunity still is very highly discounted. Our last referendum obviously was a big $7 million proposal, which we got laughed out of the room. Hey, we took our racing stripe off and it was good. It was good to know that we're not, just the golden child. We're human people. So this time around, there's 6 premier races. On top of that, the St. Petersburg event is in the backyard of, Art Invest and Funky and a lot of other individuals, and James, who's down in Florida as well. Again, as Polka Dot continues to put a real emphasis in Miami and Florida, we want to be able to capitalize on that area as well. So I don't want to ramble too long. Chris, is there anything that I'm missing or have not touched on?
What I'm most excited about is Connor again. I think, yes, sure, we're going to put a sticker on a car and it's going to go in circles and sometimes turn right as well as left on the road courses. But it's a platform. It's an opportunity. Like Angie's on here from, Dot Play and stuff. And like what they're doing with, Mercedes, something that we haven't spoke about is Nitro Nation, I think, supposed to roll out, next year.
Soon, yeah.
And Connor of it. So the more races, one thing we heard from last year was from a racing point of view is like, oh, why are we only doing one race? Why are we only doing, and they tried to deliver some extra races, which you pointed out they went above and beyond. But the timing of this would be good. I mean, if Connor does what he says he's going to do, he can promote Nitro Nation out there. And there's tons of opportunities. I have been on calls daily. Some things like I can't talk about, but large public IP places and the VBRIC one we've heard about, I think we'll hear from them again, here in the future. Several universities have reached out, but all because of these sponsorships. I know people see it like as a big price tag and, we're just putting a sticker on things, but I think that comes second to the opportunities that Connor gives us from, Lucy and Don, great job on the ambassador program, hats off. But like Connor serves kind of as a different sort of ambassador that we get along with this program. But
Great stuff,
my
guys.
2 cents.
Yeah, well, we're at the just about the 8-minute time here now, but I'm assuming we're going to be hearing a lot more from you guys over the coming weeks. How long are you going to keep this up in the discussion phase before we bring it on chain?
We've had a lot of discussions across the board with it, Jay.
Yeah.
We probably, again, this is the one thing that we are up against is that we do have to get funding with the team done very quickly by the end of the year if this is going to happen. So we probably will look at putting a referendum up pretty soon. We wanted to at least be, respectful and put up a discussion for this week and allow people to have discussions with us throughout the week and, early next week. But I would say a referendum could be going up as early as Monday or Tuesday next week.
Okay, well, if it's so quick, I just want to ask, are you very, very, very sure about asking for DOT and not just all stables?
Listen, part of the discussion and some of the great people that we've talked about have said that it's a great split opportunity to look at both sides of it. If again, this is a great opportunity and a great question to allow people to drop in the chat and say, if everyone thinks that stables make more sense, at the end of the day, this is not a get rich quick scheme for us. However, the money comes in to pay the bills, it pays the bills. So we're open to that, but I think it would have to be a lot of people coming to us, as a collective to communicate that. Otherwise, we do feel very confident from the people that we spoke about right now that it's a responsible way to at least introduce an exercise where stables should be integrated to these programs moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just on this show, we see a lot refs getting knocked down just because they're asking for valuable DOT instead of stables. But of course, you guys are doing your research, so I just wanted to run that by you and see. Actually, we're gonna have that discussion later on in the show anyway. I think if you stick around. But
I'll be here.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, guys. Thank you very much for Connor.
Real quick, just before we go, with the new Fox deal for next year as well, it's really important. The producer of that deal, we're the only motorsport, essentially, we're the only motorsport that you can watch in North America on one network that's a major network throughout the year. So that's really important for us. It's already been promoted all through the NFL, which is really cool. But they've also told me that they'd like me to be like an in-race reporter if we get this all done. So sort of maybe experiencing some new higher tech cameras that might involve us. So that's actually really cool because I've worked with a producer of their shows before. So it's, again, we're trying to build this, and I think there's a lot that will be worth it, and we just want to keep it rolling. So
I know for sure that whatever the deal you guys end up doing with the Treasury, you will deliver and then some. I know you guys have proven yourself as
I've enjoyed it.
missionaries in the space.
I've had a
Yeah.
great time.
Yeah. Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the other side of the submission.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Good stuff. We're going to take a quick detour now because Shankar is live at an event somewhere in the world, and he wanted to give a quick request to people. He wants to spread the good word of Polkadot. And Shankar, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. My pleasure. So I'm actually at the place called KTPO. This is where the world's biggest Ethereum hackathon is going to be hosted from tomorrow onwards until 8. So it's called ETH India, and Polkadot Events Bounty is sponsoring, basically delegating distributor SubDAO to represent the Polkadot ecosystem here in India. So I will quickly showcase the I'll quickly showcase the place over here. So these are basically the workshop areas, 3 workshops areas. So we'll be having a workshop on ink actually, and then we'll basically have like almost 3 days, approx 3 days for hackers to basically build on different Polkadot ecosystem chains. And throughout this period, we will also be having a booth at this place. So this will be near the hacker zone. So this is where all the hackers will be hacking over the 3 days, and we'll be having a booth over there, right there, directly in front of this lane, and we'll be setting up that pretty soon. We already started with a couple of things. No one's really here actually. Most of the teams are starting from tomorrow. So we'll be ready in the morning, and this hackathon will start at approx 2 p.m. as per the IST. The major thing here to notice is, because we are representing the whole Polkadot ecosystem, we are requesting all the ecosystem projects and the solutions, whether you are wallets, even anything related to Polkadot. If you have any branding material or promotional content, just send it to us, to distributor SubDAO on Twitter or anywhere. Reach out to us anywhere, or through, let's say, KuzDAO. Just tag us. We'll happily share it, because we'll have a TV over there, and there will basically feature all the content. We also have the PBA content provided by the PBA team. So we'll feature that. We are also printing the PBA flyers to promote it a little bit. So as per your requirements, we will be happily promote your content, and this is all covered by the events bounty already. So any ecosystem teams won't need to pay anything to get featured for this hackathon throughout these 3 days. So that's pretty much from my end. Open to any questions, or if anyone wants to connect, just let me know.
Okay, so if you have any branding material at all, you send it over to SubDAO on Twitter, and you guys will display it at this. What'd you say? The
Yeah,
biggest ETH
even
hackathon?
even if you tag us in KuzDAO,
Yeah,
DM us anywhere. Doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily needs to be on the Twitter.
I get
Anywhere
it. Yeah.
works.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for the opportunity, Shankar.
My pleasure. And thank you to Events Bounty and all the Polkadot community for thinking us capable of hosting this event. So we'll give our best for the next 3 days. See you then.
Thank you very much, sir. We are now
Bye.
going to revisit a discussion from the past. This is the Dot Play Games Bounty refill. And I don't know, we talked about this maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. But yeah, still in discussion phase. And we have Angie back on the show to tell us more about it. What's going on, Angie?
Yeah, so it's still in discussion, and we're going to leave it in discussion until January. We've been working kind of around the clock because, and I'd love to participate in this conversation around managing DOT in a bounty, for example, because we submitted the refill for $1 million DOT at a time when DOT was around $4.
Yeah.
We were cutting contracts. We were taking ourselves out of competitive deals. We were, kind of very tactfully trying to maintain the brand and also slowly walk people down to a smaller number, et cetera. And so then the flip happened, and which is amazing, except that then we go back and we have to cancel the ones that have come in, because we want to be transparent to the community always, and not kind of just like keep that in the side and spend it on something else, but actually put it back in and then resubmit child bounties for what we're going to be spending this for. So we've been in the trenches working on renegotiating all those at this higher dot price. And just wanted to give you an update on that. I mean, there's one project that had already funded, which is Nitro Nation. And I do want to give a shout out for what Connor and Andrew and Chris were saying, because we have already negotiated Connor in a game with Nitro Nation. This is a company that has already produced successfully some pretty big games. If you look at just the last game, the version that we're helping to fund and finish, it had 96 million installs and 500 to 600 million DAUs in the US earlier this year or last year. Wow. It was one of the top 5 grossing in the category on Google Play in terms of revenue grossing. So anyway, we're excited about this game. And what we're doing is we're going to be finishing the game. And then we've cut out a corridor so that we can bring in another partner to market the game. And so we're going to be pitching this, just if you're on the call, to Saitiel and to any other investors in the Polkadot ecosystem, because it's a real, but then there are also other investors like General Catalyst and many others who have surfaced who sit in these marketing game deals, game marketing deals. But anyway, the point is that one's closed, and that's a loan. So the Treasury has given a loan, and when we get paid back for that loan, the Treasury will be funding that back to the Treasury. The other deals that we're submitting tomorrow are around Roblox, as we've talked about, bills we have to pay. We still have to pay lawyers. We still have regular contracts like that, publishing tools. And then I'll just mention one more thing that is going to be coming, which is Sortium, the asset. It's an AI asset generation tool. So think about most of video game production. If you think it's just the look and feel of a video game, 2/3 of it is art. And if you think about like the 3D art is really hard. Sometimes a piece, just one boot, will cost 2 to 3 days to create. So we have done a deal with Sortium to make them the official 3D asset generation tool, the Polkadot gaming ecosystem. This was inspired by Sean Tavrisi. They're going to add powered by Polkadot, all their Sortium branding. We didn't pay any money for this, in terms of a brand or sponsorship deal. We've just been successful at referring studios to them. And then for some of these select studios, we will be providing their services. So it's a very synergistic relationship, and they're going to be branding powered by Polkadot. So that'll be coming out in social media soon. So I wanted to give a heads up on that. And then we've got a couple of child bounties that are on deck. Mercedes Monet, as Chris mentioned, Visible Realms, Eliza Yapanen in Helsinki, many of you know. And then we're postponing the referendum until January. So stay tuned on that. And one more thing, really important, because this is asked by a lot of people. We are not at liberty to share contracts. Like many industries that involve intellectual property and trade secrets, the nature of games and entertainment requires similar confidentiality. So we intend, as I think most people know, to provide as much transparency as possible, but sometimes that won't be possible. But we'll be able to share, what we are doing. And so we put the links to all of these projects so you can go and look at them. We can schedule one-on-one calls. So we're happy to provide what we can.
Okay, beautiful. What you brought up at the beginning there, the whole stablecoin versus dot thing, it is so treacherous and awful that bounties are only managing dot right now. I mean, I can't believe you're having to re-sign contracts. Like you're going to pay out child bounties directly to people you have contracts with, which means they have to receive dot. Is that right?
No, we have to convert it to fiat. So we had to restructure the agreement.
Oh my God.
And in a way, like at the same time, these people are not crypto natives. They're becoming crypto natives because of us and because of Polkadot. But it's really hard to navigate these waters when you're trying to explain what's going on. So we've invited as many people as we can to listen to your show, Jay. You know, we're on the side providing as much education as we can. And luckily the price went up, not down, but then on the way down, it was tricky from in the reverse way. So we would like to figure out a way to navigate this in a much more professional way, to be honest.
Yeah, well, Limo just posted a, what is this? This is an issue that looks like we're going to be solving this soon, allowing bounties to be able to handle stable coins or different assets besides DOT. That's going to be a huge boon. Yeah, Lee.
Yeah, there's a few devs working on that. I don't know if it's the next one, 7th grade, or the one after. I heard somewhere. I don't know if Raoul has any info on that. One minor thing, which is like not really to do with like what you guys are doing, but it's mainly the game's bounty context on like Poke Assembly and Subsquare is, as far as I know, the one that Giotto posted, like because you guys took over that bounty number, if I remember correctly.
38.
Could you try and talk to Giotto / Poke Assembly and Subsquare to update the context? Just because if people are looking at it, they won't understand the correct scope of the bounty.
I got it.
Oh,
Okay,
that's true.
we can do that.
Yeah, little archive issue there. Okay, good stuff. So what?
Do you mean when you click into it, you see the original 38 proposal?
Yeah, there's like an update from Giotto where it's like one of his tweets, and then the Telegram chat. But then I believe all the stuff under it is the original bounty, but I might be wrong.
Okay. Okay, well, we can definitely look into that and fix it.
Thank you.
So I think what we heard there was as much transparency as possible with some of the deals that the original bounty funding went to. We learned that we're going to delay the top up until January. You guys are wrecked and busy with trying to manage the slipping DOT price. And if anybody wants to hear more about the work you're doing, they can book a meeting with you and have some confidential chats if they wanted to check on exactly what you're doing. Is that right?
That's right.
That's good. Okay. Anything else you want to say, or any questions or comments in the last 30 seconds here? Pretty good. Nice. Always nice to see you, Angie. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thanks so much. Thanks a lot, Jay.
All right. Good stuff. We're going to keep moving now with one more discussion. And Raul was the one who put this on the agenda here. And we're going to get some new faces here. This is a treasury proposal for retroactive funding for the PVM debugger. Sounds pretty important. And it is, yeah, looks like it might be a small ask here in the discussion. 16,000, I think you're asking for. Not too much. Who do we have on the call here to discuss the debugger?
Hi, my name is Piotr from Fluffy Labs.
Piotr, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. Nice to have you.
Perfect. Thanks for having us here. With me is Tomek Dwenga, who's also the co-founder of Fluffy Labs. Yep, we would like to discuss
Hey guys.
the PVM debugger with you.
Tomas, welcome to the show. We'll put 8 minutes on the clock, and the time is yours to tell us anything you want us to know about the debugger.
Perfect. Okay, so this is our first time presenting the proposal, actually, and also for the first time at the AAG. So thanks for having us here. So we have posted a discussion for a proposal that we have prepared. The context of the PVM debugger is we, as the Fluffy Labs teams, we are participating in the Gem Prize, so the new iteration of the Polkadot network. And during the implementation, we need to implement the PVM, so the Polkadot virtual machine, meaning all the teams that are participating right now, more than 20, I think, they need to do this. And we have started implementation of the PVM, and we have seen at the first specific point of time that we need some kind of tooling to validate our PVM implementation. So we started putting together a tool that became a debugger. So then we wanted just to share the debugger also with the community, because we thought that having such a tool in the Gem ecosystem and in the future also for debugging, for instance, programs that run on PVMs would be very valuable. So we open sourced this, and in the last month we also finalized the first version that is really usable, stable, and presented it also to the community. There are some RISC-V debuggers on the market because the PVM shares the same architecture, but there is no specific PVM debugger, right? So this was our own need, and then we also have seen it as a possibility to create functionality for running multiple VMs parallelly on the same program, which means we can step by step compare how the specific PVMs work. So yeah, and so this in the result we thought that it would be valuable to finalize on in this current stage, and that's why we are also asking for a retroactive funding for this. And maybe I can share a couple of things on the debugger, because talking this. All right, so you can see the debugger here. What we can load some test vector that are provided within the gem price contest. These are some small programs that test some small functionalities, like, for instance, specific operations. We can select some examples that we have also provided, simpler ones, or a little bit more like the Fibonacci sequence, or we can also input the program by ourselves in an assembly language, and for the geeks also the raw code of the program. So once we have the program loaded, you land in the standard debugger view that probably some of you know from low-level coding, where only on one hand side we have the ability to see the program itself, and then we can see the state of the PVM at the current stage. So we can see the registers, we can see the memory, and we can see the program counter and the gas remaining in the program. And as in typical debugger, we can run the program or step over the specific instructions and see how it works. What is in the PVM in the GAN context, what is really important is this multi-PVM feature, which means that we can start the program in multiple PVMs at the same time, and then compare also the results, right? So I have selected 2 PVMs right now, and the program is executed step by step in those 2 selected PVMs, and I can directly see if there are some differences in how the PVMs work. So, for instance, here I can see that Polka VM has consumed more gas than the Typeberry implementation. Other than this, we have also a reference to the glossary of the operations supported, and also linking to the gray paper, the official gray paper. In this version, it is linked to also our tool that we have given to the community. This is the gray paper reader. And so that you can dive deeper into the specification of the specific operations. Yeah, so these would be the most important features of the debugger. What is important for us is that we want to be very community driven. We are talking to other teams as well in terms of integrating their PVMs in the debugger. We know that some teams are using it already, and right now we are also discussing it with one team that implements the PVM in Go, that they officially also be listed on the list where you can select the PVM. We have also prepared an interface for other teams that they need to implement on the side of the PVM, so that they can attach the PVM into our debugger. Yeah, so this would be for more. Tomek, would you like to add something?
About 1 minute remaining here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I saw your face, Jay, and I know that this is like pretty low level stuff. I think the one thing that I wanted to note here is that since we are taking part in the jump prize. The important thing is that the jump prize is not covering the tooling. So things like this, they are not incentivized to build. And as we know, Jam as the next iteration of Polkadot Cloud is going to happen sooner or later. And the tooling was always kind of like, I would say, lagging in our ecosystem. So what we are trying to do here is to get the tooling done upfront. And this is why we are building that debugger and requesting the funding for it.
Awesome. It seems very in touch, very important. Seems like the price is all right, but let's see what Limo has to say.
Well, I just front run Robert. Mine's going to be an easy question compared to Robert's, I think. Okay, so 16K seems really reasonable to me. I'm not a dev, but it seems like a pretty good tool. So this covers the scope of what you've done already. In the future, will you be coming back to the Treasury for like maintenance grants and stuff like that, or what is your plan regarding that?
So the maintenance is included, meaning being up to date with the specification of Gem, also bug fixing and taking care of that the work works smoothly. We have a couple of ideas in which direction we could develop some new functionalities for the future as well, especially in terms for if the real life program will come in, and they are extreme, so they will be much bigger, right, than those simple examples. Then you can validate during the development time of PVM. So there's also a chance that we will develop some new functionalities also for really debugging real life services in the future, and probably yes, then we will be also coming for also retroactive funding requests.
All right, we are over time now, but Robert, I think you will be able to ask, as you usually do, a very quick question, and we'll get a very quick answer.
Okay, cool. This project looks like really, really cool. Especially I like the glossary that you have there, like that specifies what's actually happening with the PVM instructions. Next to debugging, do you have any plans to use this as an educational tool as well? Because I think next to just debugging, like for developers to learn how the PVM works, that's great.
We didn't have an opportunity yet to present it anywhere, but we are doing meetup in Poland next week, and we will be presenting that tool to like a small community in Poland and educating them on PVM and Jam as well. And yeah, I hope in the future it will be used for that. Like it's also the reason why we built this was also to understand like how PVM works and how we should implement the actual interpreter. And that I think is reflected in the tool as well.
Yeah, because the EVM is great tooling, and it's good for Polkadot to catch up with that. Yeah, nice.
Piotr and Tomas, it was great to have you on the show. Please do come back anytime, and we'll look out for this to hit a ref, I guess pretty soon, right?
Yes, sure.
Good stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you for building, and thank you for coming. All right, we are now going to move on. Speaking of Robert, we have you here to discuss once again the Merkle Mountain Ranges. Merkle Mountain Belts, MMBs. This is sitting right on the wire here, 53.9% in favor, but looks like we probably have some more DVs to come in. No, actually, we just have a lot of DVs abstaining, so I guess you're looking to turn some people onto this here. Welcome back to the show. What's going on?
Indeed. Cool, thanks. Yeah, both me and Alfonso here to talk about that.
Because it's
Hey, Alfonso.
Hey guys. Yeah, thanks for having us on the show. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the comments that we've received, and also clarify some things that I think might be confusing for some voters. So some comments were asking, like, is this a research project? Is this an implementation? So I just wanted to clarify that it's both, and we are pretty proud of both sides. So we are going to have one of the deliverables is a library, this MMB library, that is going to be plug and play, ready to replace the MMR that is currently being used in the BFI protocol. And once that is replaced, there should be immediate savings in the transactions of all the users that use bridges from Polkadot to Ethereum or to actually any L2 or any other outside blockchain. So we made the numbers and they're solid. So there's that side, and then there's also the research side, which is that the other deliverable is a research paper, and that we're very proud of. So I think it's going to help improve the reputation of Polkadot. So Polkadot has produced many papers, and this is going to be one of those. It's rare that a paper is produced in through OpenGov, right? It's usually produced by the Web3 Foundation, but it goes in that line of producing high quality research. And it's also necessary, I think, since we're talking about a new cryptographic primitive, well, a new cryptographic structure, I think for us and also for auditors in the future, having this paper is going to be very important to have like a source of truth, let's say, of what to compare against, how to know if it's working correctly. We're happy to say that we've received very good comments in terms of the technical value of the proposal, starting from Alistair Stewart, the head of research at Web3 Foundation. He was actually the very first person to give an eye. And then we also have positive comments from all the technical leads from the most important actors, which would be the Snowbridge and Hyperbridge and Parity. I think they all seem to be in agreement that of the usefulness, that is actually going to reduce the gas fees of the users of the bridges. We also wanted to clarify there was a little mistake with the phrasing, with the numbers that appear in the proposal. It looked like we were asking for 41,000 dots, and it's actually about 29K. The reason for that is that previously we were using a 30-day EMA, and we switched to 7-day EMA, considering that there was a price increase just in the previous week of our proposal submission. The correct number, so the smaller number, is about 30% less. We did this in good faith because, yeah, it looked like the price was going up. And the correct number also appears in pre-image, which is the source of truth. It just this previous 41K appeared in the text of the proposal, and we already switched it. But the pre-image was 29K.
Yeah.
What else? You want to continue? Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So then the other thing, so we got a bunch of feedback both before like the submission of the proposal that we changed the proposal for in the meantime. So it's had some good changes from that, but we've also gotten feedback, of course, since the proposal's gone live on both sides of the fence. And firstly, thanks for both sides of the fence for expressing their opinion there. I think the one that has been mostly spoken about there is the success reward. We've seen some who agree with us, like that it's a good incentive scheme for teams that have like long-term impact to have a share of that. We've also seen some going like strongly nay on that. So that's something that we want to open up for discussion there. Maybe there, like at this point, can become like very interactive. I think the broader topic here is like the idea of retroactive public goods funding. We explained a lot of this in the proposal itself. I encourage you to read the text if you want to get a deeper understanding of our reasons for this. But this, so the success reward here is in principle an RPGF, in the spirit of RPGF, where you have teams that build something that's useful for a particular ecosystem. And if you're a team that has an impactful idea or that could have impact, you typically have like the following choices. Like either you can launch your own L1, which is what the route is mostly taken because you get like a lot of upside exposure to this, but it doesn't add any benefits to an existing ecosystem. And it starts to fragment the community, like both in terms of liquidity, but also in terms of the stack that one has. And it also means, so that's the outcome of that. And you can see it from the thousands of cryptocurrencies that are out there that this is not a sustainable path for something that actually builds bigger and bigger communities. The other path one can take is to just get a grant, and that is limited to the cost of what you're doing. But then without a long-term incentive structure, we've seen this a lot with grants, not only in the Polkadot ecosystem, but also if you look at other ecosystems, that those very frequently, unfortunately, get abandoned after that is delivered then, because the team doesn't have the long-term incentive that another one building their own L1 would have. So I say that what we're doing here is a retroactive public goods funding here. Of course, we're committing to this share that we get upfront here, but that's because we're in the rare position here that we can calculate how much savings we would bring. And of course, if the savings don't exceed the cost of our proposal, then we get none of these success rewards. But if it does, then we think this is an appropriate number to ask for there. Yeah, we're also mindful that we want to set the right precedent, here with this proposal here. But yeah, it's an idea we've been pushing because it's for keeping teams like Polkadot for longer. Yeah, rather than forking off and doing the L1. That's a broad overview there, but I'm happy to interact on questions there. I remember Andrea and Marco. Yeah, there we go. Andrea already.
We have 60 seconds remaining, so oops.
Yeah, okay, so I have them questions.
Yeah, 60 seconds. 60 seconds remaining. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Did you say you have 10 questions?
No, them's one.
Okay.
From normal people that don't get everything,
yes,
please,
so
go ahead. The first one is that, could you explain us really simply how it's different from the rest of the code of Polkadot and why it should be treated differently? We have our time getting that, why it's not just another runtime or other things like that, but bear in mind that we are normal people, so yeah, there is maybe nuance we are not getting. And if it's not a common good, why it's not a private endeavor? If there is money to be made, what justifies the fact that it's not just a private thing and you will make money by doing that? And and actually want to understand how it will be materialized, how the blockchain will be able to calculate the 30% and all of that, or if it's just some kind of social consensus you want to create, and that will in the end need another ref.
Okay, very good questions, Andrea. I'll try to keep this within the time frame up. So with respect to your first point, why this isn't a private endeavor, that is, we spelled this out in the comments on the referendum as well, and elsewhere, in some DAO chats. That is specifically this notion of you could go for an L1, create a private project, but you're not adding value to an existing network. And we want to create this value for Polkadot specifically. So that's why we're running it like that. We could, of course, create an own chain, and that would have more upside for us. But this leads further to this fragmented community system, and then it wouldn't benefit Polkadot, and then we'd just be a separate ecosystem. Then towards your second point, this would, how does this integrate in Polkadot? This would become part of Beefy in Polkadot. So it is deeply integrated there. And then your last question there was, how would we actually calculate this success reward? That is a good question. Here, we spelled that out in the full proposal there. We can calculate how much gas it would have cost with MMRs that are currently being used, and we can calculate how much it costs now with MMBs. So we would provide the proof of how much it saved. So we can calculate how much it would have cost with the old path and how much it costs now, and then you have the difference there. So this isn't something where we would then suck our thumb and come up with a number there, probably something like that. We can actually do this with on-chain data. Yeah, we try to use scientific method wherever we can.
But it will need future referendums to be
that is right. That is right.
The community decide that, I don't know, 30% is way too much because there is billions of volume on those bridge. We will still have the ability to change that somehow.
Or is there a time period maybe that it goes
into? There's a time period of 10 years. So yes, this is subject to further referenda, and of course our success reward here is tied to us doing maintenance on it. Part of the success reward is also to incentivize it to find further efficiency improvements. So if we don't, we spelled it out in the full proposal. So if we run away, and as Mario said it, if we chill on an island just sipping mojitos, then and the library becomes abandoned, what we're trying to avoid by having this long-term incentive, then the community can of course say no. But I think part of the social contract here that we're forming is what share we're getting here. And again, if we don't save as much as we save like from our predictions here, then in that case we would get nothing. It's only in the upside here, so it's a balancing act.
Yeah, I think Tommy raises a good point there. A 10-year social contract, it's pretty risky. The voters of OpenGov in 3 months are different than the voters today. But it is a risk you guys are taking on by making this
Yeah,
so.
it's risky for them, not for
that's
us.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because we will have to hire again. So
Yeah.
I think this 30% part is interesting as a kind of innovation about how we will incentivize people into finding flaws in the code and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing that's pushing people into abstaining. Like they have the feeling they will get stolen from something that doesn't exist yet. I guess that's how we're feeling in the next years. Like 30% of something is a quite big numbers, but in the end we will have to validate that again. So I think I would be in favor of aiding it personally.
Yeah, interesting comments from Limo there too. We're really out of time, but I think we had some good things there. Sorry, Mario. Maybe next week we could bring it up. But Robert, there's a complexity here that's interesting, and I'm wondering, like, is there a more is there a more elegant way of making this contract, or is it more about like a limitation with OpenGov that we should figure out as well? That all being said, I think there's still a good chance of this passing through as it is today, and just want to thank you for bringing this opportunity to us.
Just a brief comment there, like on what we can agree with the OpenGov. Like the reason there are like these referenda later also, of course, because we don't know, like these rewards will be variable, so we don't know what those could be now. We could now say, we think it will save like this and this much, and then fix to that, but that wouldn't be honest. So that's why they're called up referenda.
Interesting.
But thanks for the feedback, and happy to engage more on this, like in chat or on the referendum. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Futarki, who's going to check on that? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Jay. I just wanted to say, like, I think I was supposed to give a discussion also. Didn't want to interrupt now, like the ongoing ref, but if
which one?
Interstellar. It's on the agenda.
The third one.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's okay. It's okay. Should I do it now or should I wait later?
Let me cue you up here. We're going to do it in just a second. Yeah, we're going to cue you up, Elliot. Very sorry about that. But okay, Robert, thanks very much. We'll talk to you soon, okay? See how it's going. Yes, Elliot, you have a discussion here. You put it on the forum, Interstellar, a new universal layer to access Web3. This is very interesting. I think you're going to tell us all about it. Welcome to the show, sir. Thanks, and sorry about the confusion.
Yeah, gonna post it up here in the chat as well if anyone wants to take a look. Like, thanks for having me. It's actually been a while that I've been following AAG, so
welcome.
It's nice to be here as well, like in person. I think it was really since the very first episode, so it's cool to be here as well in person this time. So I wanted to, like, I'm Elliot, like co-founder of Interstellar, and I encourage everyone to take a look at the forum post we published a while ago. And now I just wanted to give some background info. Maybe it's more easy and makes the forum post more digestible. Let me just share the screen just quickly. Let me know if you can see what's on the screen.
Yes, we can. Yep, all good.
Yep, perfect. So so just like what is Interstellar, basically. So Interstellar is a deep technology breakthrough, and it's really the result of more than 10 years of research and development effort centered around cybersecurity. And we've worked now over 2 years with the Web3 Foundation to completely open source our work and implement it within the Substrate framework. And however, to fully understand like the impact that this can have and the impact of the technology, what it allows us to do, we first need to understand the current Web3 landscape and especially how we access Web3 today. So we are big believers in self-custody, especially like resilient self-custody. But today, like, we think that self-custody is really hard. There are thousands of different Web3 wallets across multiple different ecosystems. But if you break down like all of these different wallets to their core technology, you come to the finding that basically there are only 4 main types of wallet technologies. You have hot wallets, you have cold wallets, you have custodial wallets or MPC wallets, and you have smart wallets, mostly based on smart contracts, especially in the Ethereum ecosystem so far. However, each of these wallet types have their own individual trade-offs. And if you further break down these trade-offs, you come also to the conclusion that the main trade-off that's being taken at any point in time is always a trade-off, or mostly the biggest trade-off is always between security or resilience and user experience or accessibility. And that's basically a big dilemma. So you have the dilemma of choosing one over the other. I'm sure like a lot of you have experienced this problem so far, like yourselves. For example, if you want to set up a hardware wallet or something, it's really, really complicated. Like it's a bad user experience. And however, this problem is not specific to Web3 actually. It dates a while back. It has been a problem for years and still exists to this day inside of Web2. So it's a big problem. So what if there could be like a completely new type of wallet technology and new type of common good technology that could solve this dilemma that existed for years? One that is completely natively decentralized and one that is powered by Polkadot. So that is exactly what Interstellar is. Interstellar is a completely new type of wallet technology and common good smart account framework that doesn't exist anywhere else. So this framework doesn't require any seed phrases. It doesn't require any emails. It doesn't require any passwords. And it doesn't require any passkeys, which, by the way, are really like centralized and not resilient at all. And this framework also provides an instant onboarding into Web3 with your day-to-day smartphone device and a one-tap recovery to access Web3. And most importantly, however, this common good framework makes your daily smartphone device as secure or arguably even more secure than a hardware wallet. And we think that that's really, really important, especially for the resilience of any ecosystem. So that are just like a few examples of what this framework allows us to do. And over the last months, we've, while building our core tech, we've engaged in a lot of discussions with a lot of teams in the Polkadot ecosystem, wallets, parachains, but also with people from Parity and the Web3 Foundation. And so far, we've got a lot of positive feedback from everyone. And we think there's a great interest to test and to integrate the smart account framework into the team's projects and applications, as it would allow them, especially to have like a user onboarding that is even easier than what we know in Web3, in Web2 today, without sacrificing the security. So we think that this is how Web3 should look like, and this should be the ultimate goal, and how we can, or at least like further the goal to achieving mass adoption. So apart from 2 Web3 Foundation grants we have received so far, we're completely self-funded. And so a lot of people advise us to seek funding from the Web3, from the Polkadot Treasury, including the Web3 Foundation. So yeah, we'll aim to initiate a Treasury proposal in the upcoming weeks, which hopefully will support the development of this common good initiative for the Polkadot eco, and especially for every Polkadot or future Polkadot user. We think this can really have an immense impact on the future of Polkadot and the future of Web3 as a whole. And it would also allow Polkadot and all of the Polkadot ecosystem to set itself apart from other ecosystems' centralized smart account solutions, to really, as Polkadot, have a chance to become a market leader in this vertical. So yeah, that's it basically. So happy if you guys want to read the forum post and engage in the discussion. I would be really happy to have more people engaging in this conversation. And also, if you want to hit me up, like anywhere on socials, Telegram, X, or whatever, like happy to talk more about the underlying technology which we implemented, and happy to schedule a call if you are interested. And
excellent.
That's it.
Let's hear from Richard with 60 seconds remaining.
I just want to say that I had the pleasure of meeting Elliot and Jean-Luc on a call with some guys from Kilt, and it's an incredible system. It blew me away. Really recommend anyone to do a deep dive on it. We're looking to onboard a lot of people from Web 2 into Web 3 with our fractional ownership of real estate. This is a mechanism that can make it so easy, but still maintain the highest level of security. So I highly recommend it.
Quick questions,
Thanks, Richard.
probably quick answers. This is a technology that can be integrated into existing wallet apps, mobile apps. Yeah, and
Exactly. So, yeah, sorry.
okay. And my other question is, if I get a new device, am I able to transfer?
So yeah, this would be basically integratable with a single SDK. So every current wallet and every future or current Polkadot project could integrate this into their framework, and this would basically allow anyone to instantly, or any future user to instantly onboard the ecosystem without sacrificing the security. And I didn't catch the second question exactly. What's the second one?
If I get a new mobile device, am I able to transfer the wallet?
Yeah. So in case, let's say, like you have your day-to-day mobile device, and let's say you now lose your mobile device for some reason, you have like 2 different or 3 different backups, but really easy. It's like a one-tap backup.
Okay.
So you have, for example, like a completely new type of file, which is generated by the blockchain, and which can be stored anywhere. It can be stored like on your cloud service provider from your smartphone, can be stored anywhere else. And this file is like, compared to backing up your private keys inside the cloud, this file doesn't contain any private keys or any confidential information. So it just contains the logic to back up or like do a recovery for your account. And the second is like, you can, for example, use any NFC enabled device. So for example, if you have like some transportation or smartwatch, transportation card, whatever, you will be able to tap it to your phone, and this can be your recovery. So if you lose your phone, you will be able to, on a new phone, just pair your recovery. It's like really one tap recovery, and it has basically a hardware wallet security, which you will be able to get on your daily smartphone device.
This show is falling apart without Funky. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
Andrea, yeah. You want to say
A quick comment, and for the plebs, just to make sure I understood it correctly, it's like using this new tech for abstraction, for abstract wallets that rely on Apple and Google's passkey things, but without Apple and Google.
Exactly. So it's basically the decentralized version of passkeys. So right now the passkeys are completely centralized. They are based on an email password or other.
Okay, I get it. Thank you.
Completely decentralized version. That's it.
It's cool.
Andrea, nice. Thank you. All right, Lee. Oh my God, Lee.
Yeah, just really quick, like so Pelinova and Nova Wallet, it's not just like the Apple Google login, right? It's Apple Google login plus like another password that you set in Telenova and Nova Wallet. I put some stuff in the chat. I know we're out of time, but if you can reply to me in the chat, it'd be cool.
Nice. All right, good. Elliot, nice to have you on. Sounds really exciting, and yeah, we'll look out for this ref. You said Web3 Foundation sent you. I don't know if you can get a letter of recommendation or anything, but could help. Could help. We talk about this on the show all the time, as you probably saw. But sir, thank you very much for your work.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep rolling here, because we want to talk with Richard, who is nearly halfway through the decision period of the ACID DID comm system. Now, I was told last week that this is really important, and yeah, it seems really cool. But unfortunately, the voters right now, 24.1% in favor, with quite a few DVs on the, well, 2 DVs on the nay side, 3 are abstaining, and 1 on the aye side. Okay, interesting spread. Richard, what do you want to tell us about today?
Okay, thanks, Jay. I'll keep it very, very brief. Basically, had a very little amount of feedback. So I implore everyone, can you please give me some more specific feedback? That would be great. One of the things that was mentioned was the feasibility of this. And there's been a couple of things about what we're trying to produce, which is incorrect. we're not trying to produce this ultra secure messaging system. What we're doing, I've got a Web2 business. I think if someone can mute, there's a lot of feedback. Is it you, Jay?
I'll shut down.
So I've got a Web2 business that I've been bootstrapping my Web3 projects with, and I developed an application with my team at the beginning of the year for a client. I've got an NDA, so I can't talk about the whole project, but basically it takes information from a form. It then uses a large language model to check against some regulation, get some comments, and then store that information. And then there's alerts that are sent via an email messaging system out to a number of different users. So in a sense, what we're building is very similar to that, but using Web3 to allow an audit trail with proofs for different contacts communicating about a digital asset relating to different kinds of information, data, documents, and messages. So I just wanted to open it up to questions really and see if there's any specific questions that I can answer today, or if people can provide more feedback.
Nice. Let's see if there's some feedback from the panel here. Andrea, yeah.
Yeah, Lenexis has a feedback. So I personally think it's a good idea, but I'm alone in that situation. And basically voters don't understand the purpose and the use case of that, and basically how it will make the transaction go up and to the right. So I think maybe you could try to explain it, like how we would drive transaction on Polkadot, and yeah, who gonna use it, and what's the end goal?
Brilliant.
Because it seems people fail to understand that.
Yeah, no, great question. Ironically, after last week's AAG, Matt and Nino from Apollon reached out to me and said that they were thinking about developing something about a year ago that was very similar, and could they, collaborate or lend a hand? And we're not trying to sort of keep all this money for ourselves. We want to build something that is important for us, but also for the ecosystem. So if Apollon can help us do that, and they would share in the amount, then we were happy to do that. So, and if you want us to come on next week with Apollon, happy to do that as well.
Thanks. Does anyone from Kilt support that too, and could maybe come to?
Yeah, absolutely. Antonio from Kilt has volunteered to come back next week.
Okay, because it does seem like Excavate trying to fund itself on the treasury for some. So if we can,
I totally appreciate that.
It's a cross ecosystem initiative. Maybe some voters will change their mind.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, just to be transparent, we're going through a crowdfunding exercise through a Web2 platform at the moment, just an equity-based thing, and then we're going to do a Web3 crowdfund next year with Polymech. So we're going to be self-sustaining. We're going to be fee generating. We'll bring over 30 million pounds, so $36 million in TVL over the next 9 to 12 months into the Polkadot ecosystem, and we can ramp that up really, really quickly. We're restricted a little bit with regulation in the UK, but once we get that out of the way, the sandbox, then we can ramp it up quickly. Sorry, Andrew, I think you had a hand up as well.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask about how specific to real estate this is. We're trying to solve a similar problem with digital assets, and we're tying in games that we're tying to physical assets. So there's going to be this blurring of lines between real world and digital, and we're working on this with BlockDeep and Asset Hub, and we're trying to tap into everything in the Polkadot ecosystem we can. We haven't reached a conclusion yet. But I just wanted to ask, is this something real estate specific? Should we collaborate on this, or not even collaborate? But I just want to understand what you're doing, honestly, because this is a path that we haven't been down.
No, that's a great question. And it's not real estate specific. It's about any particular asset, and it's creating that sort of timeline of events and who did what when and what documents were approved or relating to that particular asset. And that can be any asset at all. So yeah, I would love to collaborate. I'm more than happy to jump
Can I
in.
ask one more question, Jay? How does this differ from what Kilt already offers?
No, it just enhances it because what we're doing with Kilt is everyone within the Excavate framework will need to have a digital identifier with verifiable credentials. But the way we're enhancing it is that the asset owner will have will create a credential that maybe will be sort of shared with different participants at different times to then encode and decode messages and access to documents relating to that asset.
Permission sharing based on rights.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that could work for IP too. That's
Cool.
interesting.
Yeah, honestly, sounds like it has a much broader use case just as far as legal documents go altogether. That's really cool. Andrea, what did you want to say?
Yeah, basically to say it's like some kind of digital twins or digital passport for real world assets. So yeah, it could be really useful. And I guess the challenge is that just it need to be accepted by the real world in order to have value. And that's the tricky part. Like creating adoption on the standard is quite complicated. But at the same time, if we don't have that on Polkadot, it could slow the adoption of RWA-based product and things like that. So
Thanks, Tommy.
Okay, just 30 seconds left here. Anybody else have a question or comment? You know, looks like we're chipping away at this understanding problem. It is a little outside of what people would normally.
Absolutely, and also if you're making a decision based on me or you know past ref, because I put in a referendum for I think it's 7.5K for an event. In hindsight, I could have probably done it for about 2,000. But there were another 2 follow-up events that we did with collaboration with UCL. There was no charge to the Polkadot Treasury or the events bounty, and I'm trying to do one in January with the University of Greenwich again, trying to get sort of collaboration, so there's no charge to Polkadot. I'm trying to do my bit. There's the BD outreach program that we're trying to get up and running. So I'm not just a taker. I'm trying to give back.
All right, good stuff. All right, thanks, Richard. Nice to see you again. I guess we would have time to squeeze you in for one more before the end of this decision period. So if we see you again next week, it'd be a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, all the best. Oh, big one here. Treasury proposal for funding of the Jamton project, milestone 178,000 USDT. 0.4% in favor so far, but lots of votes to come in. We have Saxonburg on the nay side. All the other DVs still deliberating. We did have Vlad on Space Monkeys this past weekend, and I thought that was pretty awesome. But it did bring up some more questions that hopefully we'll get some answers to today. Vlad, are you there?
Hi guys, do you hear me well?
Oh yes, sir. Welcome back to the stage. What's going on?
Hey, what's up? So thank you so much. We're now in the preparation of the launch of Jamton, basically, and it's a lot of work here. So we are with the team, and I want answering on the couple questions what we become some feedback on the treasury proposal and so on. So also the happy spamming. Yesterday it was the great event. You can see the QR chain was there. It was somewhere in the middle, so not the best, but still. So also I want to tell that the Gem SDK is coming live on the last week. It's really crazy stuff. If somebody checked the Gem SDK, please let's discuss together what we can do. So, and I starting from the question, and of course, Jay, thank you so much for the Space Monkeys. I mean, you like a producer make from ordinary people the superstar. So the many people check and say, wow, it's so crazy, amazing job, and so on. Thank you so much. It was big pleasure. I hope not the last time, and with the big update next year, something to discuss with you again. So the question was the .on from the Saxenberg. So if you check what they writing, I also understand this delegation program, and of course they need also just not just say yes or no. They also need, like I understand, answering in the treasury proposal why they doing this, and so what we find in the tweet, because they still not put anything in the treasury proposal, it's just a tweet. Okay, we just don't we a little bit don't say yes, we say no. That's how it starts, if you can check. And the most complaint what they put there, like we understand, is that .on, it's our token, and we prepare some TGE or some launch, and we're asking support. It's not this coin, the .on coin, it's the derivative, whatever you call LST dot or LST ton, was backed by the ton or dot. So it's not issuing any coin, any shit coin, something like that. It's only mint and burn when somebody put inside the staking the dot or ton. So we don't make any sales of this .on token. We don't make any ICO, IEO or something like that. It's super important. And Saxenberg vote against us because we launched the new token, but we don't launch the new token. The system need to have the token, the coin, for the proof of stake, and that's why we making this. So another maybe more questions coming. I'm happy to answer and so on. Another big question is about the breach. So why we or which breach we saw in the end in our we have three stage. In the first stage we use the bridges because it's a logic for the people who now using the different chains, the different blockchains, like using Snowfork, Hyper Bridge, and another bridges. We just give the option to the community to use the COSI solution. But of course, in our opinion, on the stage 3, we bring the abstract account, we bring the idea atomic swap live, and we now in the process of development. But of course, on the first stage, we need to give the easiest way to the people to transfer the ton in dot, the dot in ton, and different assets like USDT and so on. And it's looking logic to using the Snowfork, which is become from treasury millions of dollars in this scenario. It's logic, I believe. So also the question from the GA was, or from another people also, how this happening and why it's working like layer 2 and side chain and the parachain. So the answer is really easy. It's integration of Litecoin or Ton node inside the substrate node of Gemton. In Gemton validated, and after that the Gemton node validated in parachain in Polkadot. That's how it works. And the cross-chain messaging between all these, it's we of course prepare some infrastructure, the smart contracts on Ton, the smart contracts on Gemton, and also the different infrastructure to working smoothly and so on. But it's really working, and it's going to be on stage 3. So I want to finish it. That's what we're building right now. It's going live in December. It's really important, and we are a little bit on stress, on the pressure, but it's going live, and we prepare some collaboration with a couple players in Polkadot to showing why we're building this, why the Gemton, because to just build another chain, layer 2, whatever, it's not make any sense. We're preparing the solution with the mini application inside the Ton to showing how the people can use the mini apps inside the substrate, and how the parachains can become the mini application with the use case. That's our biggest goal, and we on the way. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer right now or later.
Okay, let's squeeze him in. My first quick comment was, I've heard from somebody obsessed with light clients that Ton doesn't have light clients, but you just mentioned that it does.
We just now creating basically, I think the first one.
Okay, and you're basically putting a TON node inside of the runtime of your parachain. Is that right?
On Gemton, yes,
On
it's
Gemton.
hearing. Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay, we had a comment from Tommy, but let's go to Limo here.
I just want to talk about the comment you said about the token. So in section 2 of your proposal, it talks about users get a liquid staked token, .ton. This token can be utilized around the Polkadot ecosystem. So can we clarify the .ton token? Is that when people stake DOT on Gemton? Is that like a VDOT equivalent? Or is it a different token? Because I think if it was like a VDOT equivalent and it was just like a receipt for like staking DOT on Gemton, that might alleviate some people's issues. But if it's like a brand new token, then like Tommy said, people might prefer that you had DOT as the like parachain native token.
So you can stake the DOT and become the TON. When you stake your DOT, you issuing the TON token.
Okay, so it's not a new token that needs price discovery. It's related to the price of DOT, the underlying assets.
To appreciate the DOT, because DOT have the API, and the same way
it's
is for
liquid
TON. You stake TON and become the TON.
Okay, yeah, it's a liquid staked token. Okay, that's good to know. Angie, and then Tommy.
Yeah, I was just going to ask this milestone 1, what percentage of the project does that cover? Like the 72,800, what's milestone 2 and 3 and whatever comes after?
I don't get the question. Can you repeat?
How complete will the chain be at the end of this?
How to compete?
How complete? How complete? If I have a use case,
yes.
So I'm thinking about, we build games.
Yes.
We like to use Telegram as an advertising tool for those games.
Yes.
I see this being a really cool add-on. What 72,800 for milestone 1? What percentage completion will you be at the end of this?
We have free stage and we separate these payments for free stage, but again, we in the beginning show you the mini application from the not Gemton, from another project from Polkadot ecosystem inside the mini application with the connection of Nova wallet, sub wallet, Ton Keeper, and another wallets where you can use the something what's happening on Substrate through the gem Ton inside the Ton. So it's gonna be on the stage 1.
Mute myself here.
Yeah, I'm in the proposal too, and I didn't see any details on the rest of the project.
Where can people find the other 2 milestones, Vlad?
So it's in the previous rejected referenda, basically.
It might be good to put those milestones into this one so people can reference what else is coming.
I think it was there, but let me double check. I think we already did this before.
Okay,
so
it happens.
I mean this in a purely positive way because it would be interesting to dive into using this, but I just want to know when.
No. If you have the mini application game, what you want to launch right now inside the mini app, please reach out to us after this call and we onboard you and we make it happening for you.
Oh, then why do we need to do this?
Oh,
sorry.
Because sorry, because the today the Ton holders have the mostly biggest traction inside the gaming. It's hundreds of millions of users who gaming inside mini app right now. It's the biggest traction in the games right now in the Web3. It's happening on Ton in Telegram.
Yeah. I know that. I was just asking if you can already help me use Telegram to promote games that I'm working on Polkadot, then what does this bring in addition to whatever you would offer me today?
From the Ton side to the Polkadot side, or from Polkadot side to the Ton?
Polkadot's perspective, what does it bring?
Oh, the traction. All this traction is gonna be complete inside the parachain, inside the Polkadot. So when people use the Telegram mini app using the Gemton, this traction, what is happening on Ton side is going to be recording in the parachain and complete in relay chain and Polkadot ecosystem. It's bring you value, it's bring you traction, customers, and transaction in the end.
Okay, so theoretically, all of like the games on Mythical, for example, and FIFA is going to bring 100 million players, whatever. All and if they were thinking about some sort of connection to Telegram, they can not do that now. They could actually do it on a parachain.
Exactly, on substrate code is going to be executed in mini apps and back. From the mini app, the people from Ton ecosystem can use it inside the substrate. And of course, we have the competition. Just so you understand, the layer 2 right now is happening in the Cosmos SDK and Polygon SDK, and they commonly next year live. And if we're talking about the Polkadot SDK, and we want to everyone using the substrate code base, we need to push it right now, because right now it's 0 layer 2 on Ton live in mainnet, and we become with the Gemton the first layer 2 for the sidechain extension, whatever you call it, the first one to scale the Ton users and the Ton DeFi. And of course, if you want to become the Polygon SDK, the most attractive the layer 2 for the Ton or the substrate. From me, it's logic that we want to substrate SDK become the most acceptable in the whole Ton ecosystem. That's what we're pushing.
Okay, our analyst is putting together a list of due diligence, and let's set up a call. It would be great to dig into this more. Thank you.
Very cool. All right, we are way over time. We have 3 hands up. Who has the most juicy question? Oh,
It's not a question. It's just a fact that the proposals have claimed that seems too bold for us.
Which claim?
Basically, creating a bridge, creating a derivative dot, creating a DEX. So the way we see it, it's like hydration plus Bifrost inside the new bridge towards Ton. So we would actually like to see more from the team before thinking about funding. We tried to test the mini app, but it was not working, or like all the wallet wasn't coming soon. So yeah, basically we have nothing to reassure ourselves about the proposer's ability to deliver, sadly.
Too unbelievable.
Yeah, a bit like that.
All right. Okay, I guess Tommy or Michael, if you want to go real quick.
Yeah. So users can stake Ton, and then what to collators? What kind of rewards do they get from collators?
They have the additional stake inside the Gemton parachain with the API.
So, but it indicates they are getting collator rewards.
Sorry?
The text indicates they are getting collation rewards for staking.
Yeah, they become additional API for sure from the Ton from the parachain.
What token is the reward in?
In Ton.
So the liquid staking token dilutes from the.
It's a liquid staking inside the staking dot. Yes.
So, and you're minting new liquid staking tokens as collation rewards.
No.
No, I think the value of the liquid stake token goes up against the underlying asset, just like VDOT does.
I'm trying to understand what the collation reward is.
The collation reward is. I don't get the word the collation. What do you mean?
The collators. So you're writing in your text, people can nominate collators to receive additional rewards.
Yes, like a liquid staking protocol inside the Ton. So
what additional reward is there from nominating collators?
Do you mean the percentage? 16 API.
What specific reward is there for nominating collators? What is the reward? Like what token? Oh.
What I really
We're
think
gonna have to
it's
take this
some.
to text. We don't want to waste any more time with
Okay.
this. It's the question's
Okay.
not landing here. Okay,
All
Michael,
right.
so quick, so quick. You've never been this quick.
I think most of my questions have been answered. I just want one quick one. Does anyone in the TON ecosystem know about Polkadot yet? Or is it, so when we say all of the users, is it like, are we like going to be able to market this to TON? Were TON looking for L2s? Is like, will there be TON people coming to Polkadot?
Okay, can I again become the question? So, what is the do know that the people know about the gem tone inside the tone?
Yeah.
Yes, the people inside the Ton Foundation, Ton VC, Ton Lab, Top Labs, and couple other Ton ecosystem know about the GM Ton solution, and they officially don't support any L2. So they just can basically supporting with the collaboration way with the different mini application inside Ton. That's what's happening right now. And they know about the GM Ton very well. The big job, like Yeva, it's a lending protocol, the one biggest, the Ton Keeper, the biggest wallet with the 50 million monthly users. And couple other application inside the Ton. It's onboarding to GMTon. It's gonna be live in the GMTon and accessible on Substrate.
Okay, interesting, guys. Thanks very much for coming on. Okay, sorry, we went way over time there, yeah, we'll see you another time if you want to come on and discuss more. And hopefully this question from Tommy can get straightened out as well. Maybe
Yes, can we
over
just with
text.
Tommy make the private conversations we
Go
answer
ahead.
because I really think it's some misunderstanding there.
Of course, yeah. OpenGov.watch. I think you'll find Tommy's details, or he'll drop them below. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on. We're going to move on now to Solidity Scan Polkadot proposal, 11,000 USDC, halfway through the decision period, but struggling to gain traction with 16.8% in favor. Ooh, quite a lot on the nay side here. What's going on here? Who do we have from the Solidity Scan?
Hi,
Hey,
I'm
what's up?
Shashank.
Hey, welcome. What's going on?
All good. So I'll answer the questions. We got some feedbacks on the if you see the comments of the referenda 1300, which is our proposal. The Chaos DAO team said that it would be much better if we apply for the bounty, which covers security tooling. So we checked that, and we also realized that that's something we're going to do. So we would suggest everyone to vote for no, and we'll move there. And we saw that nobody has done that, so I think we can apply there, and it would make more sense. Second concern was a member expressed the concern that the Solidity Scan haven't discussed with the parachains. So I wanted to answer that. It's like we have already involved Moonbeam, Unique. We had a very positive call with them. Subscan is also connected with us. We are they are also positive about that. Hydration and Bifrost is the only one we haven't been able to connect. But then 3 other chains are, it's like it's done. So that is something we'll mention when we create a new proposal. Rest. Yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. So we are moving towards the bounty thing.
Okay, well that's a great result. So you came into OpenGov, and then people directed you to sub treasury that may be able to help you instead. That's awesome. And have you reached out to that bounty yet, or this is going to happen?
No. So we were a bit busy with the India Blockchain Week. We'll start the process from the next week.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming on and sharing that that update with us.
Sure. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. Moving on now to glorious, some might even say beautiful head ambassadors now officially in the program. We look to our head ambassadors to set an example. Here they are asking for DOT. Guys, what's going on? You want a tip for all your awesome work that you've done over the past several months. It's been a long haul. And here you are asking 4,955 DOT each, about 5 days into the decision period. 12.5% in favor right now, but almost no votes coming in. So here we are, pretty fresh on the ref here. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Go on, Lucy, if you want to.
No,
Okay,
I'm letting you lead this one.
Yeah, basically, we're asking for a retroactive payment for what we did. It seems that people agreed that we should get something.
Yeah.
It seems that I've written the proposal in a weird way. So people are assuming we're asking for a salary, where in fact we were just trying to provide the rationale for how much DOT we want. And actually, I don't really want to talk about that precisely, but more open the discussion about how we should pay ecosystem agents, because basically people are saying you should ask for stables. And so we had to sell DOT during the last 5 months. So that's why we would really like to have DOT backs, because being paid in stablecoin would mean that we would barely buy back what we spent in DOT to survive. So
because the price of DOT keeps going up. So
yeah, and it's a bit brutal for us, but I would really like to engage the conversation on the larger subject that I believe ecosystem agents and retroactive payment should be made in DOT. And I'm wondering why so much people are against that, and if they are really factoring in the fact that paying tips and rewards like that to people that are fundamentally devoted to Polkadot, it's quite weird to ask for people to bet on USDC instead of DOT. So I get that for future fundings, we would use stable coins because we want to avoid top-ups and we want to make sure that the initiative will be there and there is a real risk for the treasury. But for anything that's retroactive and for bonuses, to rewards agents that have took a leap of faith like we did with Lucy, I actually found that weird that people would not like to give DOT to those people, to us, to people like us. And yeah, I want us to discuss about that because it felt like a weird way to reward people that have really put themselves for Polkadot. And basically, also I get it for fundings, but for future fundings, but for retroactive one, I think we should think about it.
Nice. I mean, I have thoughts, but let's hear from other people. Let's hear from Mario first, and if anybody else has an answer to Andrea, let's hear it.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, the work that the two of you have been doing, I'm the last one to say that you don't need to have any rewards for that. Because I said it the last time, I personally support that PIF program. So yeah, you need to get something. Now, I think if you look at what Connor did just an hour ago or so, they first put in a discussion post, and that would save us a little bit of time because then you could alter the ask and put it in stable coins instead of dots. Now, what I think, but I could be wrong, is the ask. First, you mentioned that you would ask $5,000 person per month. It starts from July the 1st. It was a total of 25,000 per person over 5 months. But then you asked for that dot. And I think there can I mention sneaky part? It's not, you know what I mean, because the 5,000 dot is now worth $50,000, and I think there is a little bit the thing that is going wrong in my opinion. And also, you're asking the dots from July the 1st. But you guys terminated the tried to terminate the Head Ambassador program in September already. So no one else from the Head Ambassador was requesting any compensation or received any compensation, etc. So yeah, I mean, you need to get rewarded. I'm all in favor of that, if it's dots or stable coins, whatever. And I think when I look at it, this is a little bit, you know what? If you waited until the program was running, and then after a month you said, now we're going to need to have a retroactive funding, I think 100% no, that would be a little bit too, but 95% would say, yeah, let's do that because the program is running, it works, etc. I think it's all those small little elements that bring it all together. I think, yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay,
Doesn't
so
make sense for you.
no, I get it. I will just answer on the last part about people that say we should wait even more to ask for a retroactive tip. They need to understand that we took a leap of faith and we actually did a whole bunch of hours for that. So the 5K things, if you bring that back to the hour thing, it's like it's just a lack of respect toward us. Like it's not even $35 per hour when we are paying people more than 100, in the ecosystem for the stuff. So for us, it's not a salary, it's not a payment. So people should not think about that. It's just a reward for what we did, and we did something quite interesting. And about the fact that we should wait for the program to be a success. I think it's not fair because the whole point of the program is to put back the power in the hand of the community, and not that the root ref is passed. Like it's basically not up to us to make it a success. So of course we will still manage it and put all the effort needed to make it a success. But it's supposed to be in your hands now. Like we just managed to reach a consensus as a community, and we helped that in order to put new tools in the end of the community to address the biggest issue, the biggest issue of Polkadot. So I do think we should deserve something like that. Like it's a bit like the proposal from Robert, I think we will make the ecosystem gain a lot of things and be more efficient. So it has to have a price. And again, it's not a salary because it will not make any sense. We're just asking for a reward. And obviously, as we are agents and dot lovers, we want this reward in dot. And I guess it should be the main discussion there, like whether it's weird or not to pay dot believers in dots. Like what it make to our incentive if we need to wait for stable coins. Like I'm not working for Cycle, but yeah, other people have questions, so I shut up.
Okay, let's try to shorten the questions and the answers, Angie.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think I saw a couple of comments that vote was said. One person said they would vote against any funding requested in retrospect. To me, paying in retrospect is a lower risk, kind of proposition for the Polkadot community because we're paying based on success. It makes no sense to say we would only pay up front because we have no idea what's going to happen. If we pay in retrospect based on success, we only pay for things that actually work. So I didn't understand that comment. And then the point about the 5 months, I don't care if it's 2 months or 5 months. I was involved. It was a more than full-time job that I couldn't do. I had to step back to focus on, gaming. And I think a lot of people had to step back. Forget about the number of months. It's not a salary. I would just ask for however much you think you deserve for this, success. And I would support it.
All right, Jose.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's keep it short. So, there is we have two trains of thought, stables or dot. I have no problem rewarding dot to people. What I have a problem is like if dot doubles, I want these teams to come to the table and say, hey, we have this leftover dot. What do we do with it? Can we use it for this that we have in mind or that? That's all cool. That all will, resonate with the community. What is not cool is like if it goes up and there is silence from these teams, next time they come to the treasury, they are going to receive a closed door in their face, right? So, if we have active developers coming into the ecosystem and they are asking for dot, I'm okay for that, right? Because of this, but transparency, man.
No,
Right?
look, I just got to step in there and say a big hell no on that. I mean, it's a good theory, but in practice, the Treasury has lost millions and millions and millions of dollars from people not returning extra funds or for people asking for top-ups. So in that case, I don't know. That seems sketchy to me. Okay, who's next? Lucy.
Yeah, so I want to say that we started in July because but we have. So firstly, we didn't do a forum post. Instead, we spoke to lots of people. I think we've been speaking about this inadvertently for months. I mean, there've been calls on here for us to get paid. People have encouraged it, and lots of discussions have happened. I think Richard will also agree that Angie Mike's doing that forum posts are something we really want to work and to help, but they often don't. There's often not really engagement until you actually put that proposal through. So we did the best we could at asking what people think. There was a lot of ultimately the Ambassador 2.0 program was not a success. So we've actually tried not to look at the work that was done there and more ask for a sort of ecosystem agent salary, and we've lumped it all. So if you look at my report and Don Diego's report, and I mean, I can just delete all of the stuff I did as an ambassador, but all of the stuff I did as an ecosystem agent. We also looked at, what salaries we've both been on, what salary we would be on as a head ambassador, and what sort of salaries other people in the ecosystem, or not, but like hourly rates, etc. And we've actually come in lower than all of that. And so if Angie was saying, ask, what you think it's worth, we probably have asked for significantly less, but I genuinely wanted to do this as a passion project, and I am so proud of what we've all achieved. And that's ultimately why I held Don Diego back from asking for this even sooner, because I didn't want the program, the fellow, to be affected in any way, and for anyone to think in any way that's why we've done this. So I want to make that really clear. How we've asked for it, I understand people's kind of concerns, and so my question, like Don Diego's, is should we have a blanket rule that people do or don't ask in DOT? Because when DOT wasn't very much, it was asked for everything in DOT. The tip bot spits out tips in DOT, 20 DOT for every tech thing that's done, and that hasn't changed to stable coins. Is it up to a certain amount? And if we ask for the 43k, which the amount of DOT essentially is worth on the date that we put it in, would people evade that, or do they also think it's too much? So we took so much into consideration, and I guess the question is, if we take this down and ask for 43,000 for 5 months of 60, 70 hours a week, plus the sheer amounts of travel, etc., and expenses. Like, I put all my expenses up if anyone wants to look at them. Like, how into the weeds do we want to go? I just want to impress how much we really have thought about this, and how we also realize it's rather unprecedented, because it's not just delivering it's not just delivering something and it just works. And this is also what the fragment system is going to hopefully passes on Monday morning, and it starts being built. It will prevent this from happening, because people will be able to ask for money to be ecosystem agents, and then if they don't deliver, they just don't get they just don't get it the next month. So I'm really pleased that we won't hopefully be in these sorts of positions anymore, and then maybe tips remain small and remain in DOT, and that kind of stays, and then people ask for stable coins this way. I don't know, but it's a good conversation to be having. I'll shut up now.
My comment is mostly about the DOT stablecoin discussion. But first, I approve that he gets retroactive funding for this, because in this case, the impact of what he did, you could only tell thereafter. And so in this case, funding it retroactively is appropriate. I saw a comment on there that you should have asked for this up front then, but if you don't know what the impact of this thing will be, then of course you claim it towards retroactively, and you also already take the risk of doing all this work, and it may be denied. So I really think that this should be rewarded. In this case, I also think DOT is appropriate. So I think there were a lot of proposers who kind of, I'm sorry for the expression, but pissed in the pants for everyone who took DOTs and then claimed for oh, we need a top up now. So it was kind of like a free option that they got, oh, if DOT goes up, then then we have that, and if case it goes down, then we just claim this. So I think that was not legitimate. Of course, claiming DOTs was the only option up until stable coins became available. But I think clearly now, if you're claiming, I still support teams asking for dots because it's good for incentive alignment. You're doing something to further the ecosystem, and I think in your case they have done work to further the ecosystem. So I think dot is applicable. It's just that if you claim for dots, then you can't take that downside of saying that it's too little now. Then you should have asked for stablecoin. We specifically share that way for our milestones. We asked for stablecoin, and then for everything thereafter, which is aligned in terms of like if dot succeeds or if we succeed, like then those things are aligned, and then dot makes sense. But I see like I think teams that now ask for dot, I think that's still legitimate, but they must like still take the downside risk for it then. And it's a pity that so many teams claimed retroactively for their free option that they thought that they had.
I guess I was muted before. I just want to say that I did say that the silly thing is that voters also love DOT so much, and it is hard to give away that token with so much potential energy. But I will say on the retroactive side, the thing about this retroactive payment is that we already agreed that we wanted this to happen. It's not like somebody came and built some useless piece of tech and then is like, oh, can you pay us? It's retroactive. It's like, no, we all agreed we wanted this head ambassador program made, and then Andrea and Lucy and Co did such a great job. So this is like a perfect retroactive payment. I'll also say that dots, specifically dots spent like 6 months ago, I think those should be refunded in DOT because obviously they also lost the opportunity of that DOT to go up because that DOT is now out of their hands. So that makes a lot of sense for me too. Those are just my thoughts. Richard, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say that it was a complete mess, and these guys came along and put unbelievable amounts of energy into it and created something that we can now be proud of and then possibly use it in other areas like BD, which we desperately need something like this in BD, because at the moment it's a few people pushing it, but there's not this overarching structure and everyone's got other stuff going on. It needs people like Andrea and Lucy all throughout the whole of Polkadot. If we don't reward them, they'll fuck off somewhere else. Sorry, but that's the situation. It's simple as that, you know. And it's a bit of dot. So what? It's driving this whole ecosystem. So let's reward them.
So I'm too much of a dot head, so I probably won't go anywhere. But yeah, I will be pissed off and I felt betrayed, I guess. And also, I think people have still issue evaluating the value of the social layer of Polkadot, and I think that's the next, the next step for blockchain ecosystem and for community and DAOs like us. And I do believe that what we did has a tremendous value on that aspect, and that's also explain why people have like for me it's a bargain. In stablecoin, it would probably we would probably have asked for the double, and I think what we achieved will bring Polkadot at a way higher level on the social contract, the social layer, and that's the real end game for me. So maybe it's personal, but I think that Polkadot is what everything is not on the blockchain. If you can understand it.
I agree with Angie's comment that you should have asked for more, and you can still ask for more. I would support that for sure. It was a huge pull.
But we're happy with our ask. We feel like it's fair.
Okay, we are going way over time again. Obviously we're gonna have to start paying Funky. I don't know in stables or in DOT, but we need him to be here because this is a mess.
You need to apply to Fragment Initiative Fund.
Did we find out where he is?
No,
Is he?
I don't know. He did send a message, but it was desperate. I have no idea. But let's hear from Michael real quick. And come on, really quick, guys. And then to Spectre.
No, I just want to go on record to say I think this is like almost a silly debate. Like this is a no-brainer. There's never been a better example of when it's appropriate to ask for DOT. Give them the DOT, everybody.
Spectre, let's hear from you.
Yeah, just very quickly, what everybody said, without a community, there's no project. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, thanks for your support, guys.
Good stuff, and thank you guys for doing the work and getting us this far. Congratulations on the passing of the root ref. Not many people can say they have put a root ref in and got it passed, so good for you. That's a notch in your belt as well. All right.
Particularly after they've been kicked out.
Look
Yeah.
at you. Yeah, back on top. That's
I
good.
think I'm the first one to pass a root ref after being banned, you know?
Oh yeah, I forgot
So
about that.
that's kind of an historic moment.
What a journey. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks very much. Good stuff. We're winding down the show now. I just wanted to ask if anybody in the chat, because we have a couple of DVs here yet to come in on the Coos Public Broadcasting 1303. It's looking pretty good. Feeling a lot better about this, and some smaller voters coming in on the I side here, as well as some really supportive comments on Twitter and in the Polk Assembly chats here. Yeah, Spectra, how's Hungry DAO doing about this?
Oh, sorry, I left my hand up.
Oh, sorry, I thought you
But
raised it.
basically, yeah, but basically, we're on the I side.
Oh, nice.
It's sitting for a week for the fifth member to express opinion. But at the moment, we're on the I side. But just a quick question.
Yep.
Is this 250 something K, is this for the 1/3 that is not the marketing bounty, and then you're basically applying for 2/3 with the marketing bounty? That wasn't quite clear.
We're still negotiating with the marketing bounty, but it's not going to be a whole lump sum up front. They just do month by month. So we submitted a cost sheet of kind of the maximum amount we would suggest to the marketing bounty, and for a 3-month trial period. So it's not like double this amount and say it's going to go into marketing bounty. That's not how it's going to work. It's going to be, if you look at that cost sheet, it'll be that for 1 month, that for another month, that for a third month, and then renegotiate with them. But they're a lot tighter than we are in OpenGov. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I just want to say that, yeah, basically, again, it's a no-brainer because without Kush is like the Polkadot TV. You have to have a reliable source to get reliable information from. So, yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. Well, we wouldn't be anything without the actors that come upon the stage and entertain us every week. Thanks very much. Looking forward to the iVote, and thanks for the support. Any more questions? Please be happy to answer. Limo, I know you're waffling on this one.
No, I was going to ask a similar thing to Spectra because some people were wondering about the Mac and everything. And my other comment is I heard what you said on the spamming live stream, Jay. My alt accounts are going to be out in force neighboring this referendum.
Nice.
But eye on this is great. You know, it's the shows that this is for are like really key for the ecosystem, I think. And then it's not like the marketing bounty is definitely going to do this. Like Jay and the guys are going to have to negotiate with them and make sure that it's like a good deal for Polkadot, right? It's not like a guaranteed funding thing for the piece. It's so.
Yeah, no, I think what we're going to do with the marketing bounty is going to be super highly optimized, and they're I'm not going to say stingy, but they're very careful about how they want to spend these funds and make sure they're put to good use. So
Crane's on it, the stingy, you can say it.
Yeah, there you go. I will say though, because you brought up the spamming, which was so much freaking fun. In our list of things that we've done without funding, we at the bottom here we put upcoming top secret collab, and that was actually the spamming show. And I just want to give a shout out to Ollie and Annika, who were producing behind the scenes there. That was a phenomenal experience. They were so awesome. Everything was so tight. All I had to do was bring the guests and show up, and it was a super experience to host that show, and I think it was great results as well. So that was super cool. I hope everybody enjoyed that, and I can't wait to do it again. Feel bad for the other parachains. You know, did you see that? You saw that graphic we did on the Coos with the massive and then the other ones? I mean, that was a little bit heavy-handed actually. Kind of came in a bit rude. Yeah, Lee.
There's a lot of paid footers as well, talking about, is it Cardano Hydra offline testnet or something? Because obviously they saw
Side
us
channel.
with the first version, where it wasn't like full out, and then they came up with this like 1 million TPS number, but it's like not in prod, and you know it's basically Mickey Mouse kind of stuff, you know, like testing in prod like we did. Yeah, not many people are doing that. I don't think anyone's doing that other than us. And you can tell by the actual achieved TPS, we're just like it's like 6x ahead of the next best. So we can play all the like if people set the games as TPS, we'll just play the game, win, and then we'll move on and keep building. And then if people change the goalposts, I'm sure we will win on those games as well.
Yeah, some of the chats we've been having around here, it's like, okay, so what's the next game? And we'll just adjust it, knock it out of the park.
They'll keep it.
Yeah, yeah. Jose, you got some?
Yeah. Just that event, we should do it every day. Forget about the wood or anything. The flying bird, that was so much fun.
I know, that was awesome.
It was great, guys. Well set up, just amazing. Good job.
Yeah, they were awesome. They did a great job. Tommy?
Yeah, so 2 things on the Cardano thing. It's not even Cardano, it's in layer 2. Like it's writing a game server, and then the game server runs 1 million transactions, right? So it's not even comparable. So I wouldn't even go into this argument of it's a test net and it's a production setup, because even if it were live, it's not comparable, right? So this is super important to keep in mind. Okay, on the other side, like we need to keep this in mind. You can tell this to everyone now. Polkadot, Kusama is the first network in the world to run 100,000 transactions.
Yeah.
You can go to any meetup, to any conference, everywhere, and you can put this on a slide, right? And I think we just need to keep this in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just add something to that. I think this mantra repeating it, we're all going to different conferences, we're all talking to different people. These kind of metrics are huge if we all repeat them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, what I was doing last night, just faffing about before bed, is just copy pasting that chart. I just like on X, I was just like, who's talking about TPS, and then just paste. Michael next, and then Andre.
I promise I'm not butting here. Okay, this is not FUD. But so we did the same thing as UJ and spammed this all over Indonesia.
Oh, yeah.
And exactly like what the TPS was, put it all out over all of our platforms. And we got kickback saying, yes, but it's only impressive if it didn't have to be pre-organized and it happened organically.
Oh.
So that was the pushback that we were getting live. So now I take that now as like a little bit of a knife in the shoulder, that I think all of us inside the ecosystem, our whole mission now is to actually let this happen naturally, that the network gets so busy, it gets stress tested, and we can prove this in the wild without having to orchestrate it.
Oh my God, actually, that's going to happen probably sooner than we think. I mean, this V8 upgrade for NeuroWeb, this is going to be big. And then Mythical Games on the side. I mean, we're going to be pushing up toward these numbers organically soon. But it's a little bit like a SpaceX launch. There's no payload in those starships, but they still need to see if it can take it, right? So,
but we're not allowed to rocket emoji on Polkadot.
People love to move the goalposts, but this is good, because what it does is it keeps us sharp.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. I love the pushback. Andrea?
Yeah, I actually wanted to know if we had some information about the spamming on DOT. Because
the newest information is that Gav wants it, and that eased a lot of fears, at least around here, because people were a bit nervous to do it. I think one thing we're waiting for is to have elastic scaling on DOT in order to test it, because that was part of this test here. But Limo, what do you know about it?
Guessing, but my guess was the same as what Jay just front ran. So if you looked at the dashboard, there was on the left hand side, there was like a few chains that had like a lightning bolt next to them. So there was some chains on 2 calls, which was like 3-second block time, and some chains that were on 3 calls, which made it 2-second block time. So like I can't remember the chains, but Chaos Spears didn't have elastic scaling. That was definitely organized by Jay to not give us it. I'm assuming like Jay Elastic at some point is going to come to Polkadot. I asked in the chat if Robert knew, but there's another Robert that might know. So I assume as soon as it's available, there'll be some cores purchased, I suppose, and then it'll be organized. Because remember, we did approve through OpenGov to fund some stuff as well. So we'll see. But it should be hopefully fairly soon, if not probably early next year, I would say.
Cool. All right, thank you guys. Yeah, the spamming was awesome, and it wasn't it cool. 100K TPS, 100K Bitcoin in within 12 hours.
And that was only 23 out of 100 cores as well.
I know.
So
I know.
you can skip like 4x the 128K basically. And like I can't remember who said it, but there's a load of upgrades to come that will like make it better as well. So
yes,
2025 is going to be interesting.
2025 is going to be huge. It's the year we've been waiting for since we all got together in Chaos DAO originally. Here we go. Okay, thanks everybody. Yeah, good chat on the spamming, and yes, thanks for your support on the Koos Ref. Limo, you wanted to talk about something.
Yeah, so it is Ref 1325, the Bounty Manager. Ref.
Yeah.
So for those of us that were at Sub-Zero in Thailand, the team were there, and we're showing a few of us this tool that they've made.
Yeah.
So I'm on a few bounties myself, and like for me, I'm comfortable with Polkadot.js, but a lot of people that are on bounties with me is very confusing for them, right? So what the typical UX is, somebody that understands what they're doing goes to Polkadot.js, makes the call, copies the encoded call data, and then pastes it into multi-x from ChainSafe guys, and then everybody else like just signs it, right, or like reviews it with the review thing and signs it. This is like a kind of all-in-one bounty manager platform. So it's actually pretty good, but hopefully the team can come on next week to talk about this.
Yeah.
There's a few things. There's like some of the line items, let's say, seem a bit weird. Like the light mode, dark mode thing seems like really expensive compared to the rest for some reason. There's also this Clary's AI integration, which is a decentralized futures grant from Web3 Foundation. But I think people want to see how that is in like other products, or like maybe they have like a standalone app before we pay to integrate it into other products, is the feedback that I've seen in like the general community so far. But the tool is good, but it'd be great. Like for example, if it got made, if the team came back, maybe thought about adding the Clary's thing into Milestone free, and maybe like adjusted some costs based on some feedback. Yeah, it'd be great. But the tool's good, but yeah, it's just people are a bit weirded out about some of the costs and the current integrations that might be better moved to Milestone free.
What's this point by Saxenberg here? It looks like originally the Milestone 2 is supposed to cost 50-something thousand, but this is 250,000. What's with that?
I think this is like, for example, adding the Clary's thing, which is probably really good, but again, people want to see it like in its own app.
Okay.
And then yeah, some other stuff. And this is the problem with when, and this is not related specifically to this team, when people go to OpenGov with like multiple milestones and then change the cost. I can see Saxenberg's point that we approved milestone 2 based on some cost, and then if you like forex it, even if it's like really good stuff, it's not what we originally approved. So you don't want to get into the habit of like someone says the full scope of 5 milestones is 200K, and then like, oh no, it's actually 1 million, right? So I see that point.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody else have a ref you wanted to speak about before we close her down for today?
Just a little bit confused with the Tommy about the liquid staking and how working the restaking and liquid staking in the Tom. We share after the call, I believe. It's better because it's become too long.
Yeah. Okay.
We will take time to understand it.
Yeah. Good.
Don't worry.
Good. Nice. We can all get on the same page. All right, let's just go over. We have 3 confirming refs this week, real quick here. 1, 20,000 USDT for enhancing the substrate fast sync for large chain states. I don't think we saw much about this on the show, but seems like 100% of voters agreed with this. 13 accounts on the nay side, but I can't even see it on the chart there. So congratulations to this team. We also have Open Zeppelin back, milestone 4. 100% in favor of this one too for 260,000 USDT. I know that people are excited about Open Zeppelin work on Polkadot. And so congratulations to them, and happy to continue our relationship with them. And finally, oh yeah, as we were discussing today, was this in Ref Gone By, Lee? No, because it's just in confirmation here. This is the funding for the ambassador program, 640,000 USDT. Now in the confirmation phase, this should be done by our show on Monday, but 95.1% of voting power was on the I side here. So congratulations to you guys. And yeah, we're excited to see how that goes. Wow. What an epic show. I think we held it together. A little off the rails, but in the end, we did get to the end, and I think we got somewhere. Limo?
Yeah, if I can have 30 seconds, I linked a forum post.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, some KSM holders requesting that the KSM treasury hold stables like the dot treasury.
Yeah.
I understand like some people come in like new and don't have the full like history. So just quickly, USDT used to exist on Kusama, and then Tether delisted it because of lack of like adoption, right? So Circle and Tether, I would imagine, are unlikely to list USDT, USDC on Kusama anytime soon. Not for them, but if they've removed it, they're probably not going to add it again. So if the Kusama treasury wants stablecoins that are USDT, USDC, then there is the possibility in the future when there is liquidity pools on Polkadot dexes that the KSM token holders vote to basically bridge KSM over to Polkadot, and then maybe using certain dexes, dollar cost average KSM out into stables, and then bridge those stables back to Kusama and put them in the treasury, right? Yeah.
Cool. Robert?
But maybe Robert Wolford, what I said.
Yeah, I think that's the no. I think it is right, and I think that's the best approach to go to. That's the same thing for why you can have like one bridge to Ethereum that just runs from Polkadot, because you can bridge over to Kusama from there, and like running the Kusama bridge to Ethereum is much more expensive because it has like much shorter like epochs. So like yeah, you have to relay commitments much more. So this makes sense and I think it makes sense for Kusama treasury to also have stables.
And like I said, I think like 3 weeks ago on Kusama AAG, all of this will be possible when Chopsticks gets an upgrade so that you can fully test extrinsics across Polkadot and Kusama. Right now, that's like the blocker for all of this because teams don't want to do stuff blind. They really want to test stuff thoroughly so that stuff doesn't get stuck in system accounts or whatever. So yeah. And I believe Brian and the Chopsticks team are working on this upgrade. So hopefully pretty soon we can do all of this.
Yes, Raul.
Hello. I just want to remind voters that on another proposal not related to stablecoins in Kusama, this week, referendum 1308, starting deciding period on Polkadot. This is a very important proposal. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. There's a few projects that are unable to access Polkadot OpenGov granted funds on Asset Hub due to a problem with pure proxies and multisigs. This proposal fixes this, so this teams can access the allocation from Treasury that was already granted to them. So make sure that you review referendum 1308 and please vote for it so we can pass this as soon as possible.
You're muted, Jay.
You are muted, Jay.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just saying, looking good. That root track, though, we're going to need the volume of votes to get that across the line sooner. But thank you for that reminder, Limo.
One thing that might be interesting, so I guess a lot of these teams that did this used Polkadot software to request the USDT. But for example, on Subscan, I believe like multisigs and proxy accounts are flagged as like they understand that this is like a pure proxy or a multisig. So it'd be interesting if those governance apps could use however Subscan's getting those flags, so that if you do start requesting USDT to a peer proxy, it like tells you be careful up until the runtime upgrade that makes all of this like work properly is enacted.
Very nice. All right, thanks very much. I am going to now go and enjoy dinner at the Parity Retreat here. I think we're going to have a bit of a DJ session. And then this will be the final time you'll see me on the road for a few months, which is going to be really nice. I do want to say we will probably be taking at least a week off over the Christmas holidays, and we will have more information about that. But then we'll be back on the road to AAG episode 100. We'll have 90 on Monday. But sorry, Raul. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, no, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We're gonna do it. But anyway, we'll be back then. Thank you very much for your participation, everybody, and for participating in OpenGov. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jay.
Bye.